Thanks for staying with us. Let's turn attention now to Africa, where speculation over the well-being and whereabouts of Cameroon's 91-year-old President Paul Biya has become a hot topic across the continent. This speculation comes as the president had not been seen in public for about a month. Cameroon's ambassador in France insists that Biya was in good health and in Geneva, his habitual base when away from home. Other sources suggested this was because he needed to rest under medical supervision after a heavy diplomatic schedule in July and August. Government spokesman Rene Sadi has, however, issued a formal denial of the rumors, adding that the president will return home in the next few days. African Affairs analyst Paul Melly joins me on the ward now to discuss the said death rumors of Paul Biya. Good to have you join us.
Good afternoon from London.
So, Paul Biya is known to take a backstage and measured approach to leadership. You rightly wrote in your piece that he has no apparent need to engage in diplomatic presenteeism or performative summitry. So why does this absence matter now?
I think his absence is attracting more attention now because it's a month. So that's quite a long time. It's not just a week or two. And he was seen active at the China-Africa Summit at the beginning of September. And in the middle of August, he was at a ceremony in France marking the commemoration of the landings in the Second World War, where in fact he made quite a long speech. But since those two sort of big public appearances, he's disappeared from view, and there hasn't been any communication at all about his well-being until the last couple of days when the government insisted that he's well and fine and just resting and working normally, but away from the public eye. So that sort of attracted more attention. And of course, although he's somebody who has over the years often stayed out of the public eye, he is now 91. So he's older than, say, when he did this a few years ago. And Cameroon faces many challenges, and so the rumour mill is continuing to churn, despite the government's denials.
And there has been a ban on the media in Cameroon from talking about his health or just his whereabouts, and they are citing national security issues. Which of it is more of a national security challenge? Talking about his health or his absence? Because we know that the country is dealing with secessionist movements in the English-speaking parts.
Well, I think realistically, Cameroonians know that Mr. Biya is 91 years old, and they know that he's used to being out of the public eye. So discussing those things in itself doesn't really change the security situation and isn't likely to change, the way people think about what's going on. I suppose the government is trying to calm the speculation, but by making these statements, they risk actually boosting it because, of course, when you say don't talk about something, people's reaction is to say, well, why are they telling us not to discuss it? And that in itself is a factor that's driving the rumours. And as you say, Cameroon does face really serious challenges in southwest region and northwest region. The two English-speaking regions of the country, there's been a long-running crisis, quite often pretty violent, with separatist fighters on one side, government forces on the other, the civilian population caught in the middle. And then, of course, in the far north of Cameroon, the country also shares the same challenges of dealing with Boko Haram and ISWAP, the jihadist groups, just as you get in northeast Nigeria, in Borno State.
But I really wanted to ask, because what's really shocking and surprising for a lot of people, including myself, is how his supporters continue to call for him to run again after 41 years in power, and he's 91 years old. How does he get people to vote for him if he's never really in the country?
Well, Cameroon is a very complicated country. There are many different ethnic groups. There are many different regional interests. And then, of course, you have two linguistic communities in terms of the languages inherited from the colonial past. French and English, as well as, of course, all the languages that Cameroonians speak among themselves at home. You have conflicting political interests and all these security challenges and competition, of course, among leading figures in the RDPC, the ruling party, who might be thinking eventually of a potential succession. So in some ways, it's almost easier for people, certainly for some people at the top of the political system, to just keep Mr. Biya there. It's almost as if he's playing a symbolic role, rather like a constitutional monarch. He isn't the person who runs the day-to-day government. There's a prime minister, there are plenty of technical ministers who handle technical dossiers, and it's in some ways it's actually easier for parts of the Cameroonian political elite if Mr. Biya just stays at the top of the system as a symbolic sort of father of the nation figure.
Interesting. We'll see. They've said he will return in a matter of days. We're following that development to see when and if he returns. Thank you so much for your time, as always. African Affairs Analyst Paul Biya.
You're very welcome. Nice to be with you.